We are now here with William Katt, the greatest American hero. So thank you for being here today. I appreciate it so much.
Thanks for being here, man.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
I tell you what, we live in a time right now, obviously The Greatest American Hero is a cult classic. It was big in its time as well. We live in a time where superhero shows right now are kind of like Law and Order. If you just turn on the TV, you're bound to find one, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm curious, going back to The Greatest American Hero, for me, it was just a different take on a hero, you know? It was like, for example, when you changed into your outfit, sometimes you would just simply take off your pants and remove the jacket and stuff. It wasn't like some cool, like, you know.
Yeah,
Have to go in the phone booth and change.
Yeah, it was just, it was such an interesting take on the character. So what attracted you to the role of Ralph, a.k.a. the Greatest American Hero?
What attracted to me?
Yeah.
I was, always doing a lot of theater, and I was in New York doing a play with Dinah Wiest off Broadway at the Phoenix. And I got the script from Cannell. He sent it to me. It was laugh out loud funny. He flew back to New York, took me out to dinner. Loveliest, nicest gentleman in the world, and I said I would do it. So that's what attracted me.
Yeah.
My agent promised it would only go 3 or 4 shows.
Oh, okay.
He lied to me.
Ended up seasons. Yeah, exactly.
So working on that show for so long, what was your favorite memory or some sort of story that you can kind of share with us today that you enjoyed on the set?
Everyone that does a TV series would say the same thing. It's always about the people on the show. It's like they become a family, and so you love just getting up in the morning and going to work and being with all of your dear friends. And in Greatest American Hero's case, everyone was smart and funny and witty, and we just enjoyed everyone's company.
Now, Paul and I, we started preparing for this event back in October, November of last year, and
I take a lot of preparation.
Right?
No, and not just you, but for this event, but just so happened to kind of fall in line with, we mentioned kind of superhero shows taking over the world. It fell in line with a little crossover episode on the DC side of the television world, the CW, and if I'm not mistaken, the thing that brought them together was a wedding. And didn't I know it if it wasn't the man I was researching, William Katt, officiating the wedding between Barry Allen and Iris West of The Flash. Granted, your character was not meant for that world after a short time. I believe you were the first to die, so congratulations in that sense.
The producer said, get him in, get him out.
Zap, and you're gone. So, you came from The Greatest American Hero, the 80s set show, and obviously back in the 80s. What was it like to step onto the set of one of those crazy shows where I imagine it's just such a different world now in that sense?
Well, it was about 10 times, the set and the crew was 10 times bigger than our show.
Yeah.
So just that alone, it was one of the biggest sets I'd ever stepped foot on. But it was nice. Everybody was lovely, and I was there because the director and the producers, when they were growing up, they were watching a Greatest American Hero, so they were kind of kindly paying an homage to that television show and the late great Stephen Cannell.
Yeah, right. And so that was it was fantastic to see because obviously, when you see cameos like that in roles, it's always a fun, like, oh, The Greatest American Hero.
It was fun.
Getting set up there as well, yeah.
So going a little bit from now superheroes over to like the horror genre.
Yes.
It led me to House. Great movie. I thought typical 80s horror movie. What are your thoughts on that movie? When you read the script, was that when it got on screen, was that what it envisioned? Because it was a tough movie probably. You were by yourself a lot of the movie instead, like most of you said, the neighbor and occasionally your wife. What was that kind of like doing a movie like that?
It was kind of the first, it was right when MTV was just getting started. And it had that, it was one of those, the first post-MTV comedy horror films that was out. And Steve Miner, who directed that film, I mean, it was his brainchild. And he was always left of center, and it was really his sense of humor that runs and makes that movie work.
I thought that movie was, the first, hour into it, you have no idea what's going on. Super suspenseful, and everything just hits at once. I just really enjoyed that movie, and I thought you did a great job acting in it. Kind of being by yourself most of the time on set, and
you never knew whether it was actually happening or if it was in his head.
Exactly, and that was the biggest mind tricks the whole time, basically.
Yeah, and it was fun to watch. A lot of fun to do.
Yeah, I enjoyed it very much.
And obviously, we can't let you be here without talking about Carrie. Obviously, it's one of the first times I remember kind of watching a character who is the antagonist, but kind of pretending to be the protagonist to, the main character, and kind of that storyline, which I love. And so, what is it like to be part of one of the most classic horror films of all time? And obviously, that's probably something that comes up a lot when fans talk to you.
Yeah. Well, I thought I was going to be Luke Skywalker at the time because I auditioned for George Lucas and Brian De Palma at the same time. And I didn't get the one, but I did get the other, and it turned out to be great. I mean, it was one of Brian De Palma's seminal films, and it launched a career for all of us that we're so blessed to be a part of that movie.
Yeah, no doubt. It's again, one of my favorite films, and I think a lot of us can agree. It's one of the greatest horror films of all time.
What kind of inspired you to get into acting? And you talked about theater. What was that all about?
Well, it's well known that my parents were both actors.
Absolutely.
So from the time I was very little, I was reading lines with my mom or my dad when they would be home and visiting the set, fell in love with the people, and I just kind of headed in that direction. When I went to school and college, I got up on the stage, and I loved the theater, and one thing led to another, and that's where I went.
Did you know what kind of was going on when you were a kid, and what your parents were really doing at that time? That they were.
Oh yeah, I tell my mom, when you say that line, don't say it like that. This is what you need to do.
Yeah. If I give you one tip,
It's awesome. Actually, you actually got to do a movie with her once, and one.
I actually did 3 or 4 things with my mom.
That's got to be great.
I worked with my dad. I did a Rawhide when I was a young kid with Clint Eastwood, and my dad was in the scene. And I did a Mason, or early Perry Mason, with my mom. And then I did the Mason. She did 2 episodes of Hero with me, and she did Big Wednesday with me that I did with Jan Michael Vincent and Gary Busey, that John Milius directed. She played my mom in that. And then we worked on the Perry Mason specials for NBC. I did 9 of the 30 shows that they did back in the 80s.
So that's obviously a
So
wonderful
it was
thing.
great.
Yeah. Obviously you said you started as a child and kind of got into it that way. At any point, was there ever a backup? Was there ever something that interested you outside of the world of acting in terms of a career?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
What were those?
I thought maybe I flew for a long time. I thought maybe I was going to be a professional pilot. I love flying, and then that didn't work out, and I almost killed myself a few times. And then
high risk, high reward. Right?
Yeah. I said I better give this up. Let other people fly. Better pilots out there than me.
I'll just take a ride and then fly.
Well, it shows when I wore the red suit, I didn't know how to fly either.
Yeah, it's kind of a.
And no, I don't know. I liked a lot of things.
So you brought it up earlier about the Luke Skywalker thing. Yeah. I just want to know, was that just another audition for you, or did you, when you read that, and you were like, wow, this movie's going to be something special?
Nobody knew, what was going on. I mean, George Lucas, no one had really heard about him, or Brian De Palma at the time. Brian had only done a few films with Bobby De Niro and Tommy Smothers. He did Greetings, Get to Know Your Mom, Get to Know Your Rabbit, Hi Mom, a couple things. George Lucas, I didn't know who he was, but every young star in Hollywood, a young up-and-coming actor, male or female, we all paraded in front of the casting agents, and we all got to audition for that, for both of them.
So what was it like? Did someone like your agent tell you, hey, like this is like the next big, like you said, everyone, like all the young up-and-coming actors are going there. Was it almost like a press release, or like, hey, you need to be here if you want to try? Like, how's that process all work?
I was in my early 20s. I was just trying to get a job, So I don't know. It was the luck of the draw, and we were all blessed,
Well, I think we're at a place where there are a lot of Luke Skywalker fans, there are a lot of Greatest American Hero fans here at the Great Lakes Comic Con 2018. What are your favorite parts of coming to fan events like this? Be able to talk to everybody.
Well, you said it. The fans. The fans are just fantastic. The sci-fi and horror and comic book fans. I mean, they're all just out of the park. They're so good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, we'll close it out with this, Mr. Katt. Again, we can't thank you enough for being with us here in this one. Your old television show, The Greatest American Hero, it just got ordered to a pilot at ABC. It's going to be rebooted with New Girl's Hannah Simone. We were just kind of talking about her off the air a little bit.
Cute as a button.
Absolutely right. And obviously, I think we have to ask the question that many will probably be asking you as the more news comes out about the show. Mm-hmm. Any involvement on your end? Any chance of a cameo? Any kind of thing like that?
No, there's been no talk yet. I think the producers want a fresh start, and they want to go in a completely new direction. Down the line, if the show runs, maybe they'll pay homage to the original show and have me on. That would be my hope, but you don't know. I want it to be a big success for the young lady and for everyone associated with it.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Well, I tell you what, we can't thank you enough for being with us.
Thanks,
really
you guys.
appreciate it so much.
We'll be at your event tomorrow as well, and we really appreciate you being here.
Good. Thank you.
Once again, William Katt, America's greatest hero. Thank you.